Do you like horror games?
And do you like your horror games to be erotic, but not too erotic? Well, then you might like Lust from Beyond M Edition, which we should say is not a free game. We usually review games that are free. This is a game from Movie Games, and they very kindly gave us a review copy, so we're grateful to that. And it is being released when, Mikhail?
It was re-released today, but this game is actually 1 year old.
That's February 10th, 2022, if you're watching this in the future.
And it was already released a year ago, but this is an M edition, which is less explicit and more focused on the game itself. And the genre of this game is it's an horror, it's an adventure as well, and at the end it's an action as well.
It's marketed as a survival horror.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, you're trying to survive, but it's not like you have any other tools than just run away. So
you don't have to
really surviving.
You don't have to build a shelter. You don't have to craft a boat.
No, you can't. You can't. Yeah. This is more of an adventure and story-based game.
Okay. Speaking of story, so the story is you are a normal guy who has an antique shop, actually, but you have really, really weird visions. I cannot overstate how weird these visions are. In the search to cure yourself of these visions, let's just say you get involved with a sex cult, and then things get weird.
And the game, how it's played, as Caleb described, is in two ways. One is that you play these strange visions, but then you go back into the normal life, but your life looks normal at the beginning, but then these two worlds will interconnect, and you're gonna mostly run from things. At the end, you're gonna get a gun as well, but it is mostly about adventuring, stealth, and then some puzzling, and then later some killing.
That what you saw before, very much inspired by Lovecraft and some similar artists, and the graphics are actually, I would say, divided between the real world and the Lovecraftian nightmare world or vision world. In the real world, it's okay. I mean, it's atmospheric, but it's nothing like very surprising. The Lovecraft world, I mean, the graphic quality is the same, but I would say it's very imaginative. If you like that kind of thing, which we'll talk about in a second, it's very creative, it's very atmospheric, and it really makes you look around and see just how many weird things are going on. So I would say the Lovecraft world is much more interesting from a graphical perspective.
And I would point out the characters, because they are very different from the environment that is super realistic. The characters a little bit lack of certain humanity, especially in the face, and maybe that's why everybody in the cult that we mentioned wears a mask. So your friends and your enemies wears a mask, and then it's more pretty, because without the mask it's not
it's
so
true. I'm surprised more developers don't why they don't think about this, because you would have to worry less about the
facial
eyes going into
expression,
facial expressions and cross eyes and everything if everyone just wears a mask. That makes sense.
But the question on this channel is, should you play this game?
But don't you want to talk about gameplay first? Like how?
I'm talking about the gameplay.
Yeah. Okay.
Already.
All right. So should you
can
play
rewind and check, but I'm talking about
you play the
adventure
visions,
part.
You look for things. Yeah, I'm going to talk about looking for things in my part. Yeah. Could I? Yeah. So should you play it?
Yeah.
And before we do that, you should know that we review lots of games, all of the games that are free from the Epic Game Store. So if you like free games, not this one, but if you like free games, you should definitely subscribe and stay tuned, because we will keep you informed. As for should you play Lust from Beyond M Edition, could I go first?
Yes, please.
Because I am not a fan of horror games, but that's actually not a big factor in my feeling about this game. I'm going to be quite critical, I have to say, because I don't think it's a bad game in terms of a horror game, and I want you to end with the positive stuff. But I had real problems with the performance. There was lots of jumping and jittery, and I don't have the best graphics card. But, I run Star Wars Battlefront 2, I run Control, and without these kinds of problems, it's not well optimized. And that kind of broke my immersion from time to time. A lot of the gameplay I found to be like, you need a key for this door. Run around everywhere and just pick up everything you can and try to find the key. Like
Adventure.
An adventure game. And they're called puzzles, but it's basically just collect everything and then insert it into... Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mostly, I would just say this, for me, the story was too weird. And that's a personal thing, but it just... I'm not a big fan of Lovecraft. It gets really weird really fast. And finally, if you're going to buy an erotic horror game, why would you buy the censored version? I don't like the M edition that we're reviewing here that's releasing today. Like, if you're going to buy this type of game, why buy it with everything censored so that it's an erotic horror game but not actually anything erotic? I don't understand the purpose of this version. Yes, and first, for all of those reasons, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And then pass it over you, and you can answer that question, and then it's.
I should explain that I think only M version will be available now, so from now on, because the normal version wasn't able to sell in all the countries. So M version will be able to sell in all countries, but the brutality is still the same. Yeah. Only the erotic parts are a little bit censored. And
the M version does not make this suitable for children.
Yeah, and some of the scenes are a little bit different, so they're a little bit changed. Otherwise, it's the same game, basically. But I do like horror games, and I'm a fan of Lovecraft, so I really found it pretty in both of the words, actually. And I found it very atmospheric too. You should play, if you like horror games, you should definitely play this game. Yes, if you don't like horror games, well, this is not the one, because I can tell you that I played a lot of horror games and I don't get so much scared. And this game got me so scared. It's one of the most scary games for me. Of course, you need to play these games with your earphones and in the dark to enjoy it fully, because the voice acting is pretty good, I think. The sounds and music, everything adds to the atmosphere in both worlds, and you really feel like your character is like human being chased by this cult. You feel overwhelming, you feel very scared, and there are only few jump scares, but all of them personally got me. So as a horror game, this is a perfect example. If you like to be scared, I think you're going to be. So it's definitely yes for me.
Okay, well, two opinions from two very different types of gamers there, so we hope that was useful. Let us know in the comments if you're going to buy it. If you want the original version, you can buy that on Steam as well, and starting today, if you like your...
By the way, this game takes about 7 hours to finish, but you can try it on your own. No, it's not free, but there's a demo version on Steam right now. You can find the link in the description, so if you want to try it, test it out.
And M Edition, we don't know how much it will cost, but the original version costs about 17 euros in Europe on Steam, so we assume that the M Edition will be about the same price, if not the same. Yeah. So, all right, thank you very much, and we hope to see you in our next video.
Okay, see you, hopefully with the free games as well. See you.
Bye.
Okay, it's time to get to the ritual, Caleb.
What ritual?
Ritual. Caleb, wake up. Wake up. Oh, I can see you got ready already. That's nice.
Wow.
So you're ready. Good.
Let's take this for a spin.